Good morning. Good morning to everybody who watches us online. Our Gemara here. Yes, we're back to Shabbos Kuf Zayin Amud Aleph towards the bottom of the page. Here we are. Today we're going to learn about an interesting debate center in the times of the Gemara called Bei Avidan. We're going to talk about a very, very interesting event, a story about a rabbi and his sister who seemingly gave bribe to a judge. Whoa. And we're going to discuss why why it's was forbidden to study Kesuvim on Shabbos. So much exciting stuff. So let's go. This year's Leil Nishmas, my father, Menachem ben Akiva, and for the bracha and tzloch of Klal Yisrael. Today, here in Eretz Yisrael, we started saying the Sent Alamotor, it's a day of blessing. Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanin. Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanin asked the question, Rabbi Abo. He asked Rabbi Abo the following: Hani Sifra de Bei Avidan. Those Sefarim, and according to Rabbeinu Hananel, these are Sefer Torah, Sfarim of the Torah, Nevim and Kesuvim. Ani Sefer de Bei Avidan, in a place called Bei Avidan, the Sfarim that are owned by Bei Avidan. Bei Avidan was a debate club in the times of the Gemara, so it seemed to be, and they would have different scholars coming to exchange opinions. And one of the main objectives there was for the non-Jewish scholars to, basically challenge the Jewish Chachamim. And the other thing there was a big library. That a library, similarly to university libraries today, the library contained all types of Sfarim, all types of books and writings, a lot of non-Jewish writings, and also Jewish ones, lehavdil. And the question is, if there is a sefer of Bei Avidan, a sefer Torah that is found in Bei Avidan in the hands of those people, the question is, matzilin oisin mipnei adleika or ein matzilin, which means the question is, as we learned previously in the previous shiurim, a sefer Torah that is in danger of fire, chalila, on Shabbos, you save the sefer Torah even on the expense of breaking an Isser D'Rabbanan of Shabbos, which we discussed before. So it's not so simple. You always save a sefer Torah from the fire on Shabbos. You do when you only break an Isser D'Rabbanan, not an Isser D'Oraisa. And now comes the question: what happens if the sefer is found in Bei Avidan? Is it treated like a regular sefer Torah and you save it, or do we treat it not like a regular sefer Torah and you don't save it from the fire? And the question is obviously why. What are the sides here? Why yes or why no? So the Rabbeinu Hananel says the reason is because if it's found in their hands, we don't know who wrote it. Is it written or was it written by a Sefer Stam, a scribe, somebody who knows what he's doing and has the right to shkofa, and he's a believing person, and then it's a good Sefer Torah. And somehow it came into the hands of those people, but it's still a good Sefer Torah, or maybe not. Maybe it was written by one of their people, not Jewish, not believing. Such a Sefer Torah we established before, you don't save from the fire. So the question is, how should we treat such a Sefer Torah whose origin is not known? That's a question. So that was a question that was presented to Rabbi Abahu. What was the response? Not very clear. In velav verafia beyodei. Sometimes he said in, yes. Sometimes he said no. Verafia beyodei. It wasn't so clear. Rafa, Rafu, it was like loose in his hands. It wasn't so clear to Rabbi Abahu himself if the answer is yes or no. So we remain in doubt regarding that point. Rav, the Gemara continues to debate about the debate. Rav, loy ozil Bei Avidan. The non-Jewish people from Bei Avidan, or the Koifrim, whoever was there whoever ran Bei Avidan, they would invite the Jewish scholars of Bavel, of Babylonia, to come and participate in the debate. Rav loy ozil Bei Avidan. Rav would never go to Bei Avidan. And soon we're going to see why. There is a reason why Rav didn't go there. All the more so, Bei Natzlafi, which is the house of idol worship, house of Avodah Zarah. They also held the debates over there, but there was mamish their turf, and there Rav would definitely not go to. It is questionable whether one can enter a base of Avodah Zarah, unless it's for, as we said before, if one's life is in danger, you may enter a base of Avodah Zarah sometimes, but not just for fun. Shmuel lebei Natzlafi lo yazil. Shmuel, which was Rav's opponent, and friend, Shmuel would not go to Beit Natzrafi. Shmuel would never attend the events in Beit Natzrafi, which is the house of the Zorah. As we know today, you're not allowed to enter a church, for example, according to Halacha. LeBei Avidan, Ozil. But to the Beit Avidan, he would go. To those debates in Beit Avidan, Shmuel would participate in the debates. Omar LeRove. Now they asked Rove, "My time Osis LeBei Avidan. Why don't you go to Beit Avidan? Why don't you basically accept the invitation of the goyim to come argue with you, to argue in Beit Avidan?" And actually, that question was not posed by other people, but by the Beit Avidan people themselves. So it's mashma. In other words, they themselves asked Rava, "Why don't you come, Rabbi? We want you to come to argue with us. Yeah, we want to hear your opinion." Omer lahu. So Rava told them, "Dikla planya ika be'urcha." There's a certain palm tree on the way. In other words, anywhere between my house and Beit Avidan, there's this, big palm tree, a specific one. Vekashili, and it's difficult for me to, it's too big, to whatever, cumbersome, not so good for me to walk around this palm tree. Niakre. So then they suggested, okay, let us uproot it. Let us uproot the tree, and then you can walk, Rabbi. So answered Rabbi, duchte kashili. If you uproot the tree, what's going to happen? The hole that was created by the eradicating, that hole is going to be difficult for me to walk. That's, again, you're going to have like a pit in the middle of the street. Obviously, Rava was using pretext and excuses, because Rava, together with the Rav, refused to go to Beit Avidan, but he didn't want to say an outright no, so he diplomatically basically declined the offer. Mar Bar Yosef Omar. Mar Bar Yosef had a different approach, and he said, "Ana minayo no, I'm one of them." Doesn't mean one of them completely. Rashi says, "Makirahem." I'm their buddy. I know them and they know me. I can relate to them well. V'lo mistapina minayu, and I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared they're going to do anything. Now the cat is out of the bag. Now I understand what's the whole debate, what's the whole issue, if to go to Beit Avidan or not. What's lo mistapina minayu? I am not scared of them because I know how to manage, manage them and manage with them. Masha'en ken Rove and Rav were really concerned that if they go to Beit Avidan and they're going to do a good job, they're going to argue with them too much, then they will kill them. That was the concern. It wasn't such a nice, cute club, a debate club where you just exchange opinions. If you say the wrong thing too much, too loudly, you're in life danger. So now, Zim Nachada, let's go back to Mabel Yosef, who was a courageous one, who did go to Beit Avidan. What happened one day? Zim Nachada Ozil, there was one time when he went there, Baal Sikune, they wanted to kill him. So even Mabel Yosef, who assumed he'd be able to come out of there unharmed, was harmed, and they wanted to kill him. So it wasn't so simple. And this is the story of Beit Avidan. Shmuel, by the way, just as an end note, Shmuel sounds like did manage to go there and did leave the place unharmed. Sounds like when you go to such places, even today, you have to know what to say, you have to know how to say it, and you have to realize that it's not so simple. When you go to the other side to argue with the people who don't really want to hear your opinion, and unfortunately, even today, there's violence in campuses. We all know about that. So, ask your rabbi before you go. Ima Shalom, story time. Ima Shalom. There was a woman called Ima Shalom, the Visud Rabbi Eliezer. She was the wife of Rabbi Eliezer, Achet Rabban Gamliel Havoy. She was the sister of Rabban Gamliel. So Ima Shalom and Rabban Gamliel, the Tana, Ima Shalom and Rabban Gamliel were brother and sister, and they're the main protagonists of the story. There was a man in their neighborhood, philosopha. We think philosopher means a philosopher. Well, Rashi says philosopher means min. Min is a person who denies the authenticity of Torah, and according to many, min is a Jew who went, basically what we call today off the derech, and actually started or joined Christianity. According to the Ritva and others, whenever we say min, means a Christian, an early Christian who knew the Torah and denied it. So that philosopher was there in their neighborhood. He lived where they lived. where Rabbi Lezer, excuse me, Rabban Gamliel and Ima Shalom, and he was basically a person who denied the Torah, a person who did not believe in the Torah. And what was his main quality? The Hava Shakil Shma. He made himself a good name. Yeah, he made a good name for himself. Deloy Mekabel Shoichdo. He had this like good name that he's a person who never accepts bribe. Yeah, he's like Mr. Nice, clean hands, all white collar, all nice. Lo Mekabel Shoichdo. He does not. I didn't mean white collar crime. No, the other way around. White collar non-crime. In other words, he never accepts crime. That was like the good name that he had, while in reality, that was not the story. The reality was very different. He did accept bribe, but nobody knew about that. Now, Bao Lachuchi Bey, right? Bao Lachuchi Bey. Okay, they wanted to basically make fun of him. Who wanted to make fun of him? These were the a brother and sister, Rabban Gamliel and his sister. So they wanted basically to reveal that lie. They wanted to disclose this lie so everybody should know that this person does take bribe. So what did they do? They're about to start a court case, kind of like a demo court case, fake court case of brother against sister. And what did they do? Before the court case started, she, Ima Shalom, gave him, she had like a pre, pre-court meeting, pre-legal, and she gave him a golden lamp, nice golden lamp under the table. Remember me? That was what she, Ima Shalom, gave the judge. Then afterwards, they both came and stood in front of him, and the court case started. What was the claim? Amalei, she told him, she, Ima Shalom, told the judge, our father died. They had a inheritance court case, and she said, "I want half. I want you to give me half of the nechasim, of the assets of the will, of the inheritance." So he said, the judge said, "Okay, go half half, brother sister, half half." Oma lay. Now the brother is now saying his claim. Omerle, the brother Rabban Gamliel said, Sivlan, it says in our Torah, in our religion, it says, Bimkom bo ba'ataloteus. Whenever there's a son, a daughter does not inherit. She doesn't get, unless if there are sons around. If they're only girls, then she does inherit. When there's a son, then a girl does not inherit. Okay, so why is she receiving half? We're Jewish, we are frum, and it shouldn't be half half. It should all go to me. Omar Le, the judge responded, and the judge said as follows: from the day that you went when you were exiled from your land, the Torah of Moshe was taken away. There's another book written. Sounds very Christian. Yes, this is early Christianity, and we're talking here about the New Testament as opposed to the Old Testament. You know what it says in the new book that God gave you, the new version, the modern version? Son and daughter, they Yoresh is one. They have to be Yoresh, equal rights. Yeah, obviously he was driven not by sense of justice, but by the very nice gold lantern that he knows is waiting for him under the table. Lemocho, the day after, Hodal, there was another hearing. There was another, basically, hearing of the case. Aile Ihu, now the man, Rabban Gamliel, gave him also, gave him some very, very nice bribe. He brought him Ihu Chamra Luva, a Libyan donkey. The Gemara says much, much earlier, and around Daf Nun Aleph Nun Beis, that the Libyan donkeys are very, very good. So even if you don't think a Libyan donkey is something so worthwhile, think Tesla. So imagine yourself that this judge, instead of receiving a golden lantern, which is something nice for the house, from her, now is getting from the other litigant, the brother, he is getting a Tesla. Yeah, he's getting something really exciting, a really, really amazing vehicle, and a real new fancy car. So now things are changing, and they're coming again to the judge after the judge received bigger, greater kind of bribe from the brother. Amar lehu. So he told them now, Oh, I'm changing my mind, brother and sister. Shfilet l'sefer de sifra. I now kept on reading and I read till the end of the book because of Bay, and it says in the book, "Ano lo lemifchas min ha'aseh de Moshe Asisi." The new book is saying, I didn't come to take away, to remove this, to remove anything from the Torah of Moshe. V'lo lo sufil ha'aseh de Moshe Asisi. I'm not coming to add. I'm not subtracting, I'm not adding anything from the Torah of Moshe. Yeah, in other words, the laws of the Torah remain the same, and still there's a New Testament. By the way, there is such a line in the New Testament about not changing from the original one. Interesting. V'ksiv Bey, and it says in it, Bimkom bo ba'ataloteus, yes. And it says that the new writing does not deny the old one, and the old one, it says that in case of a son, a girl is not supposed to inherit. So surprisingly, the judge found new sources to basically back the brother now, and we all know why, right? It's a reason that, starts with a T and ends with an A. Omrale, so now, the cat is out of the bag. Omrale, the sister is now telling the judge, Nehor kishraga. Why don't you make sure your light should shine like the candle? So that everybody knows that she's giving thick hints about some kind of fancy candle. People understand she gave bribe. Amar Rabban Gamliel responded to the sister, also chamra ubotash l'shraga. The donkey now kicked the candle. The donkey kicked the lantern, which means that, yeah, I won the bribe competition. And they said that, so everybody should hear, everybody in the courtroom should hear that this person is nevlusa, is a novel. Everybody should hear that he's a manuval, that he's lying about not taking bribe. He is very well bribed, and that was the end of the story, the victory of the Chachamim over that despicable person. Now we're continuing to a different topic from the Mishnah. We said in the Mishnah that one should save a Sfarim of Torah, Nevi'im, and Kesuvim in case of fire, although Kesuvim are not meant to be studied on Shabbos. Yeah, the last part of Tanakh called Kesuvim, that part is not studied on Shabbos, and of course the question is why. So Rashi already told us in the Mishnah that on Shabbos everyone was invited to a drosha. There was a drosha, all kinds of interesting divrei drash, words of inspiration from the rabbi, including, and that's the important part, halacha. Halachas were taught in the Beis Medrash, and if people read the Ksuvim, which are much more interesting than halacha, because Ksuvim are Megillas Esther, Megillas Ruth, all kinds of interesting stuff, also lighter stuff like whatever, Shir Hashirim, Koheles, interesting reading. So the Ksuvim are not meant to be studied on Shabbos, so people should not study the Ksuvim, but rather would feel compelled to go study the halachos from the Rav in the Beis Medrash. Omar Rav, Lo Shonu, says Rav, now Rav and Shmuel are about to argue about the details of that concept of not learning Ksuvim on Shabbos. Omar Rav, Lo Shonu bezman Beis Medrash. This is only true that Gzeira in the time of Beis Medrash, which means the drasha on Shabbos was given before Shabbos lunch, before the main meal of Shabbos, the Seudah Shniya, because after the Seudah, people are tipsy. People are a bit tipsy, they go to sleep, they're not concentrated, there was wine, there was food, there was cholent, so there is no, people are not up to it when it's after the meal. The Medrash, the drasha, the Shi'ur, was before the meal. So now, says Rav, Lo shonu el bezman Beis Medrash. The only prohibition of Ksuvim reading is before Beis Medrash, in the time when the Medrash is supposed to be taking place. Let's say the Beis Medrash is between 9 and 11 in the morning. Let's say between 9 and 11, you're supposed to go to Beis Medrash and study halacha. So then close your Megillas Esther, your Megillas Ruth. Don't read the Ksuvim, the Tehillim. Just go to Beis Medrash. Aval shelo bizman Beis Medrash, not in the time of Beis Medrash, in time outside the schedule of Beis Medrash. Let's say in the afternoon, koirin. then you do read the ksuvim. Very good. You read the ksuvim. When you read the ksuvim, when anyhow there's no drasha going on, why shouldn't you read the ksuvim? Shmuel Amar afilu shelo bizman beis hamedrash. Wow. Shmuel said no, not even yes shelo bizman beis hamedrash. The entire Shabbos, whether before the meal or after the meal, Shmuel extends the gzera, and even after the meal, even mincha time after the main meal, you still don't read the ksuvim. The question is, why is Shmuel so strict and doesn't allow us to open Sefer Ksuvim the entire Shabbos? We will see a reason later on. The reason will come up later on. Right now, we can say maybe Shmuel is just extending the Gzera. Don't read Ksuvim in the afternoon, lest you come to read them in the morning. We don't want that. That's not your Shabbos material. Anyhow, the sugya will develop as we go along. Asks the Gemara a question. Eini, is that so? Is that what Shmuel said? Did Shmuel really prohibit people from learning Ksuvim the entire Shabbos? Nardo, the city of Nardo, Asra de Shmuel Hava. It was the town of Shmuel. Shmuel was the Mora de Asra, the, so to speak, the chief rabbi, the poisek of Nardo. And look what happened. In Nardo, in Nardo, they would actually read, they would read the Beis Medrash, Ksuvim, in the Beis Medrash in Mincha. Well, last time I checked, Mincha is after the Shabbos meal, and Mincha is when the drosha is not taking place, right? And Shmuel originally said that even then you're not supposed to read from the Ksuvim. And here in his own shul, in his own town, they would read Ksuvim in Mincha of Shabbos. I just want to elaborate on that a minute. There is, in a few places, Tosfos in Daf Chaf Dalet, I think, or Chaf. Tosfos earlier in the Masechta, sorry. And also in Megillah, Tosfos says that there was a minhag to read psukim like a haftorah. There was a haftorah in Shabbos Mincha in the times of the Gemara. They would read 10 psukim from the Ksuvim. And it's very, very interesting because some of us know that a lot of people, some Sfaradim, I think some Ashkenaz also, they have a minhag of reading 10 psukim of Tehillim, a capital Tehillim that contains 10 psukim, and you see people say it, each one separately. We say it, we say it after Kriyas Torah of Mincha. And I wonder if these are like the leftovers of that, the remnants of that old minhag of haftorah of 10 psukim and ksuvim in the times of the Gemara. That would be very interesting to explore. In any event, Shmuel's statement is unclear. On one hand, he said not to read ksuvim ever in Shabbos. On the other hand, in his own shul, in his own city, in his own town, they would read ksuvim on Shabbos, mincha afternoon. What's going on? Ela itma achitma. Therefore, you clearly misunderstood Machlokas Rav and Shmuel, and now let's revisit and explain Machlokas Rav and Shmuel differently. Amar Rav, lo yishon ela b'mekoim beis hamedrash. Oh, that's different. Says Rav, it's not about a place, it's about a time. In the time, in the place of Beis Medrash, in the location of Beis Medrash, don't read Ksuvim. You're in Beis Medrash, go to the drosha. Don't go to some side room or corner and open your own Ksuvim and ignore the drasha of the Rav. Listen to the Rav giving the Shir Halacha. But anywhere outside, geographically outside Beis Medrash, you should read, or you can read Ksuvim, and you don't have to come to the drasha. It's better if you do, but if you're not in the Beis Medrash, in the face of the rabbi there, so then you can read the Ksuvim. What about time? I assume it's only during the drasha. Ushmuel Omar, now Shmuel says, Ben bimkoim beis hamedrash, ben shaloi bimkoim beis hamedrash. Oh, Shmuel says, regardless of the place, whether the place is Beis Medrash or the place is not in Beis Medrash, whether you're Beis Medrash or in the comfort of your home, still, Bizman Beis Medrash ein koirin, shelo Bizman Beis Medrash koirin. In the time of Beis Medrash, you don't read the Ksuvim. Shelo Bizman Beis Medrash koirin. Ah, very good. So Shmuel outright said that the place is not limited. Wherever you are, don't read the Ksuvim. However, it's only in the time of Shelo Bizman Beis Medrash, not in the time of Beis Medrash, you're allowed to read the Parsha. Shelo Bizman Beis Medrash, it's okay. V'az de Shmuel l'taimei. Now Shmuel is following his own reason. Now Shmuel's words and the behavior of people in his own town, they fit very well. They go hand in hand. Very good. The people in Nardo, which was under the authority of Shmuel, that town of Nardo, there was this Haftorah, that reading of the Ksuvim Mincha afternoon. Well, for the simple reason that that's exactly what Shmuel thinks. Shmuel agrees to Rav that whether in the time, either the time of the drasha or the time outside the drasha, well, I'm not now talking about Rav who spoke about the place. I'm talking about Shmuel. Shmuel says that during the time of the drasha, one should not read the ksuvim. Outside the time of the drasha, people are allowed to read the ksuvim. The location is where it was more machmir than Rav. And he said whether you are home or in Bes Medrash, in the time of the drasha, before lunch, that's when you're not allowed to read the ksuvim. But mitzad, reading in the afternoon, no problem. You can read ksuvim in the afternoon. And he was even encouraged to have like a haftarah in his town of ksuvim. Rav Ashi Omar. Rav Ashi is giving a different answer as follows. Again, what's the question? The question was that originally we thought Shmuel forbids reading ksuvim the entire Shabbos, and in his own community they would read the ksuvim Shabbos afternoon. What's going on? Rav Ashi says, "La'olam kedamoron meikoro." Back to the original answer. Yes, we go back to the original answer. That Shmuel really believes that the entire Shabbos one should not read anything of ksuvim. How come in his own place they would do that? Explains Rav Ashi, Shmuel Rabbi Nechemia. Shmuel follows the opinion of Rabbi Nechemia. Okay, what did Rabbi Nechemia say? The Tanya. Now we're going to see a machloikis about why not to read ksuvim on Shabbos. The Tanya. Even though we said that Kisva Kodesh should not be read on Shabbos, the ksuvim, as we said, aval, that only talks about superficial reading. Yeah, you read and you read, you get into it, yeah, like, to read as bekius. Aval shoinin behen, you're allowed to learn the Mishnah of the ksuvim. How do you have Mishnah of the ksuvim? Well, says Rashi, Midrash Shir Shirim Koheles. The Midrash of the ksuvim is like the Mishnah of the ksuvim that you're allowed to learn. You're allowed to learn in depth. V'dorshin behen, you also learn drashas from them. You infer things from them. More be'iyun, nitzach pasuk, maybe v'royaboy. Let's say you need a pasuk in your own regular in-depth learning of halacha. You need to remember a pasuk. You're allowed to go to the shelf, take out the pasuk in, let's say, Koheles, and read from it. So according to Tanakama, it's all about bitul Torah. Don't just, read the Nevim, the Ksuvim superficially as you're reading a novel. That's not good to do because it's like a bitul Torah thing. So that you shouldn't do in the time of the drasha. Why? The time of the drasha, you should have a higher level of learning, a better level of learning. So don't do it then. That's what Tanakama believes. And according to Tanakama, in the afternoon, read the Ksuvim. Anyhow, there's no better learning going on in shul, so you might as well read the ksuvim. It's better than reading the magazine. However, Rabbi Nechemia argues, and Shmuel holds like Rabbi Nechemia. Shmuel follows Rabbi Nechemia. What did Rabbi Nechemia say? Why did they say that? Why did Chazal say you shouldn't read ksuvim on Shabbos? So people should say, yeah. People should stay away from reading secular material. I'm not even talking about books and magazines. That's not the issue. Shchita Dioita, says Rashi, Cheshboinus to Igros to Shluchas Lim to Chefet, says Rashi over here before the Gemara. Basically, your water bill, if you don't get it online, your water bill, your gas bill, electricity bill, all kinds of, stock papers, all kinds of things, checkbooks, all these things that have to do with Shitra Dioitis, bills, debts, IOUs, they should definitely not be read on Shabbos. So people should say, wait, even the ksuvim, which is the relatively lower of the Torah Nevim ksuvim is relatively the lower one. So you don't read that. Wow, even within my Torah reading, I'm not supposed to read the ksuvim. All the more so, I shouldn't read Shitra Dioitis. And people should know that reading novels on Shabbos is not simple at all. Ask your Rav about that. Reading newspapers is a question, especially captions. These things should be consulted with the Rav. I'm not a posek halacha on purpose. I'm not saying my halachic opinion over here. But people should know that it's not simple at all to read secular material at all on Shabbos. And basically, so that's it. Now, how does it answer the question? Still, still, there's a contradiction. How did Gemara answer? Shmuel believes you shouldn't read you shouldn't read a ksuvim the whole all day long on Shabbos. And in his community, they did read it in Shabbos afternoon. Says Rashi, Shmuel himself, Shmuel himself really believed Rav Nechemia. Shmuel held that the reason why you shouldn't read the shita, the ksuvim, is as a buffer, as a fence. Don't read the ksuvim, so now you clearly know not to read anything that's unholy. So that applies to the entire Shabbos, from licht benching all the way to Havdalah, clearly. So then if you ask Shmuel himself, his own opinion, his own chumrah would be like Rabbi Nechemia. For his community, he was more lenient. And for his community, he followed the first opinion of the Brisa that says it's a question of the quality of learning, nothing to do with Shitra Diotis. It's a question of don't read superficial Torah when you can do deeper, well-versed halacha. Yeah, not well-versed. I meant to say in-depth halacha. So then depends on the time. In the morning, people would really learn well and listen to the Rav and learn the Sugil Halacha. So don't read the Ksuvim. In the afternoon, anyhow, people, have shikr, getting out of bed, coming to mincha, all, pand-eyed. And then what? When they come to Bismillah like that, let them read ksuvim better than schmoozing or reading the magazine. So that's what Shmuel read. Shmuel, for his community, he held like the more lenient opinion. Very, very interesting. One more little candy for the end of Shir, the origin of the word philosopher. Where does the word philosophy come from? So if you look at the English dictionary, they will tell you that philosopher, philo is a lover, like Anglophile, Francophile, phile is the one who loves, philosopher. Philosopher, according to Tosfos, means as follows: min, kedpirosh b'kuntres. So Rashi says it means a heretic, that's a philosopher. The Rabbeinu Shama, one of the Balei Tosfos, heard, Mi Yehudi echad sheba me'eretz Yavon. I heard, says Balei Tosfos, from a Jew that came from Greece. The Omar, he told us, as a Greek speaker, the Bilshon Yavon philosophus is dod chokhmah. Philosophus is the lover of chokhmah. In other words, and that's what the English translation says. Dod chokhmah, dod is a lover. The one who loves wisdom and philosopha. By the way, why sofa? Chokhmah, it comes from Hebrew. Saba, Saba is the smart man, the smart person, the intelligent person, so Sofa Saba. The Isdigarsi, some people have a different version, Pila Saba, two words, Pila Saba, Voloshan Lotso in Schoik. Pila Saba is the one who's making fun of the elderly of the Chachamim. So let's not philosophize too much, and I'll tell you all good Shabbos. And thank you for joining us. And see you on Sunday. Sunday night, we're going to start a new Mishnah. It's your chance to start all over again. May we have a lot of bracha, atzlocha, and kol tuv. Kol tuv, good Shabbos.